By the end of this video, you'll know what discipline actually is and how to build it so it lasts longer than a week. Cause for most of my life, I figured some women were just born with it and I just wasn't one of them. They followed through, they became who they said they wanted to be, and I kept starting over every Monday. What I eventually realized is they didn't have more discipline than me. They just understood something about how it works that I didn't. And that's the thing I want to hand you. Because this ain't really about productivity. It's about becoming the woman you already know you're capable of being. The first thing I had to unlearn is that discipline is a fight. For years, that's how I used to treat it. There was the lazy version of me that wanted to stay in bed and skip the workout and scroll all day. And then there was the good me, who was supposed to force her into it. And I get why so many of us approach it that way. Being hard on yourself feels productive. It feels like you're taking things seriously. But when you actually look at it, you're spending your whole day fighting a person who is also you. Girl, that is so exhausting. And that's a big part of why you can hold it together for a few days and then completely fall apart by the end of the week. You can only be at war with yourself for so long before you run out of steam. What changed it for me was a different way of looking at it. Discipline isn't a war against the person you are right now. It's more like a relationship with the person you're becoming. Every choice you make today is something you're doing for a woman who is not here yet. The version of you a month from now, a year from now. The workouts, the early nights, the things you didn't want to do. You're not doing it to punish today's you. You're doing it as kind of a favor to her. And when that shift happens, the whole thing gets a little softer. You stop trying to win against yourself and start taking care of yourself instead. It's a softer, quieter kind of discipline, but it's the kind that actually sticks because it's not running on self-criticism. It's running on something a lot more stronger than that. Oh, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Tiffany, and I make content all about becoming the best version of yourself. If that sounds like your vibe, girl, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. This next one is something I wish I understood a lot earlier than I did. So many of us are waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel motivated, to feel like doing the thing. And girl, as long as you're waiting for that feeling, you've basically handed your whole life over to a mood. What you're saying is, whether you show up for yourself comes down to how you happen to feel that morning. And that feeling depends on how you slept, what your hormones are doing, whether your day has already gone sideways. It's one of the least reliable things about you, and we keep putting it in charge. What helped me was realizing that motivation usually shows up after you start, not before. You don't feel like working out and then work out. You put your shoes on, you start, and somewhere a few minutes in, the resistance kind of loosens up and the feeling you were waiting for finally shows up. It almost never comes first. We just assume that it's supposed to, so when it doesn't, we take that as a sign to wait. So the actual skill here isn't learning how to feel motivated on the spot. Ain't nobody doing it. The skill is learning how to move while the feeling is still missing. To start before you're ready and let the motivation catch up with you. And the more you practice that, the less power the feeling has over you. Because you stop needing it to show up all the time. You start proving to yourself that you can show up without it. That is the thing that actually frees you from the waiting. And I want to pause and make that less abstract for a second. Because this video is sponsored by the FSA store, who kindly sent me this. Here's the thing about becoming the woman who takes care of herself. It's not the dramatic version. It's the boring stuff. She wears her sunscreen, she protects her skin, and she doesn't let the money she set aside for her health every year just quietly disappear. For those who don't know, an FSA account is basically a chunk of your own paycheck that you set aside before taxes to spend on health stuff. Doctor's visits, prescriptions, a lot of everyday health and wellness things you probably didn't realize counted. The catch is that the money usually has to be used up by the end of the year, or it might be gone. That's where the FSA store comes in. It's the easiest way I've found to actually use those funds. Everything on the site is FSA eligible. Over 2,500 items. So there's none of that, wait, is this covered? Second guessing. You can use your FSA card right at checkout. No submitting receipts, no crossing your fingers for approval. And here's what surprised me. When the FSA store sent me this Aquaphor Advanced Therapy Ointment, I use this all the time on my hands constantly. I had no idea it was FSA eligible. Same with high SPF sunscreen. Taking care of your skin is a health expense. So are acne treatments, pain relief massage guns, light therapy, way more than you'd think. So if part of becoming her is just taking care of the body you're actually in, this is one of the simplest places to start. Go to fsastore.com/Tiffany Monday or scan the QR code here on the screen to start shopping. And thanks to FSA Store, where everything is eligible, for sponsoring this video. This next one is a trap I see smart women fall into more than any other. Girl, you already know what to do. You've watched the videos. Shoot, you watching one right now. You've read the books, you've saved the posts. You could probably explain discipline better than half the people teaching it, and you're still stuck. That combination is so common and it's confusing because it feels like knowing more should be moving you forward, but knowing what to do and actually doing it are almost two different skills. Understanding something is easy and a little addictive. Doing it is slow and uncomfortable, and nobody claps for you while you're in the middle of it. You kind of end up by yourself. The gap between the two is where a lot of people stall out. And the more information doesn't close it, because information was never really the problem. And what we tend to do without realizing it is hide in the gap. We go looking for one more video, one more book, one more system, because learning feels like progress. It gives you the sense that you're working on yourself without any of the discomfort of actually changing. It's the most productive feeling form of procrastination there is, which is exactly what makes it so easy to keep doing. So this is the honest question worth sitting with. How much of your self-improvement is actually moving you? And how much of it is just a more sophisticated way of putting off the part that's hard? You probably don't need more information, girl. You likely already have enough to take the next step. The work now isn't learning more. It's closing the distance between what you already know and what you're actually willing to do about it. This next one is one I had to catch myself doing for years. I call it the fresh start trap. Monday, the first of the month, January 1st. I'll start properly when my daughter's back in school. We love a clean slate, don't we? It feels like the moment everything is finally gonna click into place. And there's nothing wrong with a fresh start on its own. The problem is what it quietly trains you to believe, which is that change requires the right conditions. The right day, the right mood, the new notebook, the perfect week ahead. And life doesn't work like that. It almost never hands you perfect conditions. So you end up stuck in this loop. You're doing well. You slip up on Tuesday. And instead of just carrying on, you write off the entire week. I'll restart Monday. And those few days you spend waiting for the date to come around, that's where all your momentum leaks out. Slipping up wasn't what set you back. It's the days you spent waiting to start again that did the damage. We treat the days we missed like permission to stop completely, when it was never that serious. The skill that actually changes things is being willing to restart on a random Wednesday, right in the middle of the mess, with no big reset, no clean notebook, no sense of starting over from zero. Just picking it back up right where you dropped it. The women who stay consistent are not the ones who never fall off. We all fall off. And they fall off just as often as everyone else. They've just gotten good at the boring, unglamorous part, starting again quickly, without making a whole thing of it, before a missed day has a chance to turn into a missed month. Now this next one actually changed how I think about all this. A lot of us say some version of, I'm just not a disciplined person. Like it's a fixed trait, something you were either born with or you weren't. But I want you to think about one area of your life where you are completely reliable. Maybe you never miss work. Maybe you never let your kid down. Maybe you're consistent with your skincare. Or you've never once forgotten a friend's birthday. That's discipline. You already have it. You're using it right now. It's just pointed at something else. So it's not that you're an undisciplined person. Almost nobody is across the board. You're disciplined about some things and all over the place with others. And that's true for basically everyone. The areas where you follow through usually aren't the ones that take the most willpower. They're the ones that matter enough to you, or that you've done so many times it just don't feel like a decision anymore. And that's worth paying attention to because it shows you what your consistency is actually built for. And this is genuinely good news because it means that discipline is not a personality that you're missing. It's a skill you've already proven you have. You just haven't transferred it yet. So really, you're not building it from scratch. You're taking the follow-through you already have somewhere else and slowly aiming it at what matters to you now. Now, if you're still watching at this point and this is landing for you, drop this emoji in the comments. Girl, you are exactly who I made this video for. This next point is really the one underneath all the others. When you strip away everything else, discipline mostly comes down to your relationship with discomfort. And when I say discomfort, I don't mean pain or suffering. I mean the small, ordinary, dull stuff. Boredom, uncertainty, the resistance you feel when you know you should start, but really don't want to. The itch to grab your phone the second things stop being interesting. Most of us have almost no tolerance for that feeling. The moment it shows up, we reach for relief. A snack, a scroll, a snooze, and I'll do it later. And it happens so fast, we barely notice we're doing it. The women who seem effortlessly disciplined have not escaped that feeling. They get bored and restless and resistant just like everyone else. They've just got a little more space between feeling it and acting on it. They can sit in the discomfort a little longer without immediately doing something to make it go away. And that small gap is where most of the follow-through actually lives. And the freeing part is that this is completely trainable. It's not a personality trait you either have or you don't. Every time you stay with the boredom for 30 more seconds before you cave, you're building the tolerance little by little. You're teaching yourself that the feeling is uncomfortable but survivable, that you don't have to obey it. So discipline isn't really about doing more or pushing harder. It's about being able to sit with a little discomfort on purpose, knowing it'll pass, instead of bailing the second it shows up. And the more you practice that, the smaller those uncomfortable moments start to feel. Now this last one comes with a bit of a warning, because everything I've said up to now assumes one thing, that what you're being disciplined about is actually worth it. You can become incredibly disciplined and use all of it to march toward a life you don't even want. And that's the part the productivity world tends to leave out. Discipline aimed at the wrong target is just a very efficient way of betraying yourself. Grinding away at a goal you picked up from someone else you were trying to impress. Chasing a version of success you never really chose and just kind of absorbed along the way. And because you're working so hard, it can take years to notice you're climbing towards something that was never yours to begin with. So before you get to the how, there's a harder question worth sitting with, and it's about the what and the why. Whose dream is this really? Did I actually choose this? Or did I just inherit it and never stop to question it? Those are not comfortable questions, but they're the ones that decide whether all that effort is building your life or quietly spending it. Because discipline without a reason behind it is just obedience. You're following a rule book someone else wrote, but discipline pointed at something you genuinely want, something that's actually yours, does not feel the same. When it's something you actually want, it doesn't feel like discipline at all. It feels like self-respect. You're not forcing yourself towards a life you're supposed to want. You're slowly building the one you actually do. So if you take one thing from this, let it be that you are not lazy and you are not broken. You've just been going about it in a way that was never gonna work. Girl, you already have what you need to start. So pick one small thing and follow through on it today. And let that be your first bit of proof. You are already becoming her. Girl, just keep going. Now, if this was helpful for you, do me a favor and like it. And if it was really helpful for you, go ahead and hype the video. It genuinely helps these videos reach the women who need them. Leave me a comment and tell me which habit you're starting with. And if you want more videos like this one, subscribe to the channel and stick around. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.